People talk about you when you're not around. Are you driving the narrative? As a leader, you are making an impact all the time. The question is it the impact that you want? So every day, people observe you at work and they decide, what do I think about this person as a leader? Do I trust this person? The stories others tell about our leadership are informed by how we impact them. They talk about what they observe about you and your leadership. Is she grounded or scattered? Is he open and approachable? Are they honest and sincere? Are they reliable? Does she bring great ideas and deliver great work? Are they concerned with other people's success or just their own? Does he have my back? Does she bring out the best in others? Are they a good leader or someone I'd never work for again? Right? They talk about all that when you're not around. They talk about your style. Is he an authoritarian? Is he a do it my way type leader? Is she transactional? Do they take a hands-off approach or are they a micromanager? Is she democratic and inclusive? Does he take a servant leadership approach? Do they use a coach approach? They also talk about what you're good at and what they think you're bad at, how you lead your team and the impact you have. Are you a strong communicator? Is he a strategic thinker? Is she decisive? Does he have empathy for others? Do they focus on results and get things done? When we become more intentional about all of that, about who we are and about how we approach our work and lead, we become exponentially more impactful. The impact we make becomes more positive. And so continuous improvement isn't just for software, it's for people too. What are we getting better at? What's the impact that we want to have? And these stories that people tell about how we are impacting them, those stories become our brand and our legacy as a leader. So how do you want to impact people? And what do you want your brand and legacy to be? So I want to do an exercise with you now. And we do this exercise with all of the leaders that we coach to provide an opportunity for them to rethink and reset the impact that they have as a leader. So we're going to do it right now. So grab some paper and a pen and we'll get to it. I'm going to ask you to reflect on some questions and prompts as a way of homing in on a clear and consistent statement of what kind of leader you want to be and what you want to be known as. And if we know that, then you can identify the behaviors and the practices that are consistent with that statement and those that are counterproductive. And by doing that, you can renew your leadership. So let's begin. First, I want you to think of 5 people who have made a positive impact as leaders. They don't have to be business leaders. Their impact could have been in sports or politics or the arts or philosophy or religion. Heck, they could even be relatives or ancestors of yours. When I first did this exercise, my grandmother was a leader, one of the 5 people that I identified. So think of 5 people who made a positive impact as leaders. Think about the 5 leaders that you've got on your list and write down some of the things that, from your understanding, made them impactful. What are the words that best describe them and their leadership? How did they help people? How did they adapt and respond to change? And of all the characteristics that you've written down, which ones came up more than once, right? What were the words that appeared for more than one leader? And do you have 5 characteristics that all of the leaders that are on your list have in common? Make a note of your 5 leaders. Who would you place at the top of the list? The best leader that you can think of. So think of that person, and I want you to fill in the blanks. So start with their name, right? So name is a blank leader who helps others blank, right? How would you fill in the blanks there? Blank is a blank leader, right? So that's an adjective, who helped others what? So this person who you identified and how they showed up and helped others would appear to be an ideal for you. And I want you to hold on to that, that's an aspiration. You admire what they did as a leader. So let's hold on to that. So now I want you to imagine with me that you and I are at your retirement party. And you go to talk to somebody else, and I ask some of your colleagues to tell me 5 words that describe your leadership. And I ask them, tell me 5 descriptors of when you're at your best in making a positive impact. What are the 5 words you think I'm going to hear? Write those down. So now I'm going to ask them to come up with 5 descriptors of you when you were at your worst. It was a bad day. What are the 5 words that they would use to describe you when you were at your worst as a leader, right? These are the habits, the things, I wish I didn't do that, right? 5 things. Write them down. Own them. Yeah, you do that sometime. Okay, now you get to choose. I'm asking you, what are the 5 words you want to hear people use when they're describing you when you lead? Right? You get to choose this. You wave your magic wand, and these are the 5 words that people use about you all the time. What are they? Write them down. So remember that fill in the blanks about the leader that you admire that I asked you to do before? I want you to do that for yourself now. I want you to fill in the blanks on the statement, I am a blank leader, right? What's the adjective you would put there? Who helps others blank, right? How would you fill in the blanks on that? So we call that, I want your impact statement, right? That's the impact that you want to make. You aspire to making that impact. So try saying that out loud with your name at the start of it. How does that sound? How does it sound to hear that with your name at the front of that statement? How does that sound as if it's coming from someone else? Does it feel good? Then we're on the right track. So now I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Question number 1, am I content if this impact statement becomes my brand and my legacy? Would you be okay with that? Second question, what might I have to learn or unlearn and practice to ensure that this impact statement becomes my brand and my legacy? Right? Because it may be true today, or it may still be an aspiration for you. So what are you going to have to learn? What are you going to have to unlearn and start practicing in order to make this 100% true, that you live out this statement and it's going to become your brand and your legacy in your organization? Question 3, am I willing to disrupt the status quo for me and for other people to update my impact and make this my brand and legacy. Right? If you really are living this, it's probably going to change your current experience. Are you okay to disrupt the status quo in order to make this statement 100% true? Okay? So now we make it real, right? So we've done some reflection. So now take a fresh page, and I want you to write your impact statement at the top of the page. Right below that, I want you to think about a couple of things that you're awesome at. What are 2 strengths, or more than 2 strengths, but what are the strengths that you have that contribute to you making this impact statement absolutely real? Right? And so think of the top 2 strengths that you have and write them down, because you're going to leverage those strengths in order to live out this impact statement. Okay, got those written down? What needs work? Right? For you to live out this impact statement, what are you going to have to work on? We talked about learning and unlearning. So think about this list, right? What are the things that you need to learn, the habits you need to break? Pick the 2 that, oh yeah, these are the biggest ones. I need to figure these 2 out. Write them down. You know, to Superman, kryptonite was deadly. What's your kryptonite? What is going to be the biggest barrier to you making this impact? Identify your kryptonite, know it, and write it down. Right? Mine is impatience. I get really impatient, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. It's my kryptonite, and I need to keep myself very aware of it, because there are bad behaviors that flow out of that impatience. So that's my kryptonite. What's your kryptonite that you're going to have to really pay attention to if you're going to make your impact statement real? Okay? So writing down your impact statement and knowing what skills you bring to your work and what development areas you have is a good first step. To make your impact statement true versus aspirational is going to take practice. So there are 3 steps that, to living out this impact statement. Step 1 is you got to think about it. You got to reflect on it a lot. You got to put it someplace where you're going to see it every day. Begin the day saying, what am I going to have to do today to make this statement true? And at the end of the day, grade yourself. Would I give myself an A, B, C, D, or F for living out my impact statement today? And then what would I do differently tomorrow in order to grade myself better tomorrow? The second step is talking about it. It's one thing to reflect on something, and it takes it to a whole other level when we talk to somebody else about it. And so find a trusted friend, a colleague, a coach, and talk to them about it. Tell them, this is my impact statement, and this is the impact I want to have. This is the legacy I want to leave. And set a regular cadence with them, and maybe get some advice from them, some suggestions on things you could do to better leverage your strengths, better work on your development goals, better keep your kryptonite in a lead box so it doesn't trip you up, right? So talking to somebody helps make it more real for us. And the third step is testing, right? It's practicing. It's committing to regular practice of behaviors and routines that will help us to get better. So knowing the impact that we want to have as leaders is evergreen. There's an aspiration that I want to be this kind of leader who helps other people do this work. And if we get clear on that aspiration, then we can practice the behaviors and skills that we need to succeed, not just in our current role, but prepare us for the next role where we can even more completely make that impact in our organization. And we can figure out the steps we need to take every day in order to get better and better and better as leaders, because we're on a journey and we're making an impact. And the more we are clear on that impact, the more intentional we can be, so that the story that people are telling about us in our organizations is the story that we want them to tell. That we are driving the narrative about how we show up, the brand that we convey, and the legacy that we leave.